Hey everybody, and happy Wednesday, or whatever day it is for you, because I guess on YouTube then you can watch it on any day. But this is the Britta Filter. My name is Britta, and today we're going to be talking about cards. I know that last week we discussed a little bit more about the residence permit and residence card, so I also discussed a card in that one, I guess. But today we're going to be talking about the ID card, which is super important and something that you definitely need here in Sweden. There is some construction happening outside, as I mentioned before. They've been a little bit loud this morning, so if you happen to hear something in the background distance, that's what it is. Another challenge for you today is to count the number of ums, uhs, or likes in this video, because I was watching over the last two that I did, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I say that more than I would like to. You can't count that like, because that doesn't count. But I'm going to try to do my best to avoid those things. I think it's on a subconscious level, so hopefully I will start to improve over time. Anyway, let's get right down to it. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the ID-kort. So this is an essential little card that you really need to have in Sweden. Now, we first started this process after I got the residence card and Migrationsverket all sorted out. So this ID-kort is again with Skatteverket. Now, I know I mentioned that site before. I'm also going to be including some helpful links for you when it comes to going to the site and looking up some information there. Again, the translations are kind of off a little bit between English and Swedish, so if you do have somebody that can help translate it for you in Swedish, that's really helpful. When we started the whole process, the ID-kort was pretty fast. It didn't take that much time. But in order to get it, again, Joachim had to be with me. So you have to book an appointment, and you can book this appointment online. Then after you go there, it's just like normal going to like Secretary of State if you're from US. Just going there, and then you're going to be talking to a person who is going to be helping to get this sorted. Now, if this is your first time and you've never done this before, obviously if you're moving here or if you're thinking about moving here, it will be your first time getting this card. So you have to have somebody who can prove your identity. Basically, a foreign passport is not considered a valid identification source to get a Swedish ID. So somebody needs to kind of vouch for you, telling them that you are who you are. So Joachim had to come with me to tell them that I am Britta. So make sure that you have that sorted, and don't try to go there on your own, because it probably will not go very well and you'll have to make another appointment and go back. When we got there, then it was pretty straightforward. So he brought his passport and his Swedish ID, and then he just had to sign some papers saying, yes, like, this is Britta and she is my Sambu. It was kind of the same process of going through this cohabitating partner. They also had to check with Migrationsverket that I had gone through the process. At this point, I didn't have my residence card, the tangible card, yet, but I'd already been through it and gotten it approved. We were just waiting for the card. So when we got there, it was just me with my passport, and then he had his documents, or his, like I said, passport ID, and that was it. Now, on the spot, you get your picture taken. I think we were there for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes max. It was pretty short. I don't think it was peak time because it was not very busy when we went there, but I don't know what peak time is. So we just went there. He gave his documents, I gave mine, and then they got my picture taken, and I did the signature, and that was that. So super quick, super simple, and I think that it was mailed to us like within the week. I don't think it was very long at all. But I will do the same thing as I did last time where I show a random card here, and that will give you kind of what it is. I mean, I have mine here, but essentially all it has is my picture, my signature, and then it has what you'd find kind of on a driver's license. It has my Persian number, so you have to have that sorted before, of course. And then it has things like my birthday and how tall I am and expiration dates and things like that. And this is something that is super important to have. You need to have this as a Swede or as a resident in Sweden. So one really important thing that you use for it is, of course, alcohol. So in Sweden, there is a place called Systembolaget. You've probably heard this in other videos if you're looking at Sweden, but that's the only place that you can buy alcohol anywhere in Sweden. You can't go to the corner store or the gas station or the convenience store and pick up any sort of alcohol. You can if it's under, I think, 4.5%, so barely any alcohol at all. But if you want to get anything stronger than that, then you have to go to Systembolaget. When you're at Systembolaget, of course, you just almost always have to show identification, unless I think it's like if we think that you're under 45 or something, then you have to show identification. So basically, unless you look really, really old, then you have to show your ID. They don't, I mean, yes, they do ask for it, but I always just have mine out. So does Joachim. It's just easier because then you can just pass it over and they don't have to ask you for it. But when you go there, like when I went there before, I did bring my passport. That was fine. But if you're like me, I don't really want to bring my passport around everywhere in case I go to Systembolaget. And I'm just worried about losing it. I'm worried about something happening to it. So it's really nice to have the ID-kort. It's like in the US when you have your driver's license and you go and you use that. Like you would, of course, you can use your passport to get alcohol at the store, but it's so much easier just to whip out your card from your wallet and say, here. So that's super important to have. Now, when you're going anywhere, like trying to get any job, ID-kort, when you're trying to do any oh my god. I can't say that word. So if you're trying to prove that you are you and you're in any sort of situation where you need to prove that you are, use your ID-kort. There, I didn't have to use the word at all. Anyway, you can also use it for, or the most important thing other than buying alcohol. I love how you listed alcohol first. The other important thing is for going to, oh my god, I just forgot it again. Oh, what is wrong with me? Sorry, this is like me being completely sidetracked and living my life in a subpar way. But you need it for opening up a bank account. There we go, that's it. Okay, you need to have the ID-kort for opening up a bank account. I'm going to slide right into the bank account right now, right here, because this is really important and something that was just a nightmare. You cannot open up a bank account in Sweden without having this ID-kort. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Because it's not like I wanted it a loan. It's not like I just wanted to give them my money. I was like, please take my money. And they did not want it because I did not have an ID-kort. So it didn't matter that I had a passport that proved who I am. It didn't matter that I had a residence card, that I was I had permission to live here for the next 5 years. No, I had to get the tangible ID-kort before I could open up a bank account. So that is really a pain, and a lot of people find that to be a pain. I know that like the bank's hands are tied because there's certain rules and restrictions that the bank will get in trouble if they don't have this. So for them, it's kind of just saving themselves a lot of hassle and potential hardships and problems in the future. But it's really frustrating for anybody else because if you come here and you're allowed to work and then like when I first started work, I didn't have my bank account open yet because I couldn't get it open. So I literally had to actually have with the work, I put the Joachim's bank account information in because I didn't have bank account information. So if you are moving here and you need to open up a bank account and you're not able to, try to fast track that as soon as possible. I mean, for me, it was, I think, 2-3 month span before I was able to figure out everything, because that's first getting the residence card, then getting the ID-kort, and then opening up a bank account. So in that time span, I just rerouted my money through Joachim, and then afterwards I could change my account, my own bank account. I could change his for mine on my work. So that's really frustrating, but that's something that you're just gonna have to kind of, just deal a little bit with. We were thinking that maybe I could have gotten it earlier because we were living in Ireland, which is an EU country, but we didn't try to fight it too hard because we were right in the middle of the process and we knew that it was going to be happening soon and it wasn't really necessarily worth the fight of it. So we just waited. Now there are a few options as well. Like if you don't have work, then, or even if you do, you can still route the money into somebody else's bank account. So for me, obviously it was my Sambu, but I guess if you have like a really good and trustworthy friend, you can do it with that. But you can, they offered for us at Bank, and that's the bank that I use. Joachim uses it as well, but he has a few bank accounts. But Bank said that we could have a card for me, like a debit card that I could use that was connected to his account, but it would have my name on it, so it would be my card. We didn't actually end up doing that, but I know that some people do that if they're really they have a long wait period and things are just not working out the way they want, then they do that, so they at least have a card. Of course, you could probably just go with a partner's card as well, but I don't know. It's nicer to have a card with your name on it in case any questions are asked. You can just be like, oh yeah, no, that's my card. But yeah, like I said, I went through Banken. That was all online. It was like they don't actually have any offices, so you just do everything online. It was pretty simple, pretty fast after I got my ID-kort. That process was much longer. Most banks, I think, are the same. A lot of other banks, of course, have actual offices that you can go into, and you can go and just show your ID-kort and open up a bank account. It's like any other place. Super simple, pretty fast, but yeah, you have to have the ID-kort first. So those are the two things that I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to keep it a little bit short. I don't know how long this has been. 13 minutes. Boom. So I'm going to keep this a little bit short, and that was the main things I wanted to talk about today. The ID-kort, here, and also the bank account, how to open up a bank account. I didn't get into too much details about which bank over which bank. If you want me to go into that, I can. Like I said, I use Bank, and that's fine. I mean, there's a part of me that sometimes wishes that they actually had banks, but they're really good about, if you message on the app, then they're really good about responding and helping out. It's like any other bank. I mean, a lot of banks nowadays are all online anyway, so I haven't had too many problems with it. It's been pretty simple. I know that no matter what bank that you go with, they will charge a fee for the card itself. So there's like a transaction fee just taken out of your account every single month for having a card. I mean, so many places here are no cash. Some banks are like, we don't accept cash or check. Like, check is not a thing here. But if you go to some place, you need to have a card, because other than that, you're limited, very limited, to crossing your fingers and hoping that you can use cash. If you do come here as a tourist and you don't want to move here at all, and you're just thinking, I want to go into the airport and just take out a whole bunch of money, don't. For some reason, if it makes you feel better to have some money, take out the equivalent, a very low equivalent, like the lowest that the ATM will allow you to take out, just to have, but honestly, you're probably not going to use it very much. I have yet to go to a place where they don't accept card, and they only accept cash. Even if they don't accept card, they'll Next week, we're going to talk about Swish. That's another thing that I wanted to get into because Swish is something amazing. But next week, what I'll probably do is go into more like the apps, some of the apps that are really helpful to have, some that you definitely should have, or I highly recommend that you do. So that will be next week. I love how everything, when I talk in these videos, it's just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I should plan my life better, but oh well. So next week, I'm going to talk about those apps. Here, I'm going to leave it at that. If there's anything else that I think of in terms of banks and things that you should know, I will bring it up next week. If you have any specific questions, let me know either about the ID-kort or about opening up a bank account. Any experiences I cannot talk today. Any experiences that you may have had, you can also bring them up as well. But yeah, other than that, thanks for listening. I hope it helped. And have a fantastic day. And I will see you next time. With that said, vi ses. Hej då.